Alright all, like the title suggests, we're going to be taking a look at Intel's 10th gen. They're known as the Comet Lake S processors. We're going to be looking at the specs and the pricing and the availability of these processors. Let me roll that intro and we'll get into this video. Alright guys, like the title suggests and I said in the intro, we're going to be looking at the 10th gen Intel processors coming out. They're known as Comet Lake S processors for the desktop. This is the 10th gen, which is like 14 nanometer with 9 pluses after or 10 pluses after, something like that, which to me it ain't important. To me it's the performance that really matters. I really don't care what node they're building on, it really don't matter to me. I just hope they're going to bring back the competition to AMD. I'm going to give you a breakdown of what they've got coming out. These processors should be available on May the 20th. And we do have prices. This does come from Intel, so you can almost count on it. Now, I don't know if they're all going to be available on the 20th, but at least the high end. You know how most companies do. They send out the high end components, then a month or so later they send out some of the other ones. So take that with a grain of salt. But they are saying on May the 20th some of these processors should be available to purchase. We do have pricing like I mentioned. We're going to run down through some of the frequency of these things and whatnot. And I hope you're all ready to be confused, because the naming scheme on these things is terrible, in my opinion. You know, you do have the K SKUs, which is overclockable. You have the non-Ks that's not clockable. Then you have the F SKUs that don't have integrated graphics. And, you know, you have like the top tier 10900Ks. The 10900s, you have the K version, you have the KF version, you have the non-K version, then you got the non-KF version, you know, which kind of confuses you. You know, some of them's overclockable, some of them ain't overclockable, some's got integrated graphics, some don't have integrated graphics. It's just a mess. But let's jump into it here and see what we think about the pricing schemes of them, which is the important part to me is the pricing. You know, I like to see them come in the pricing lineup with the AMD processors, because that's what you need to be competitive in the market. You know, AMD is taking the lead in the desktop form. You know, yes, Intel is still the fastest gaming CPU out there with the 900, with the 9900K hitting 5.1 gigahertz. They're going to hold on to that through these processors. They're still hitting the max gigahertz, or the fastest gaming processor out there. They're still holding on to that title. Let's jump over here and see what we got. And like always, I'll link this in the description below. These pictures here came from PC Gamer. Alright, here we are on the i9 10900 lineup. Like I say, they got 4 different processors here. You have the K, which is overclockable, the KF, it's overclockable without integrated graphics. You got the one that's non-overclockable, then you got one that's non-overclockable without integrated graphics. Confused? Yep, it should be. The 10900s, they are 10 core, 20 threads. The i700, the 10700s is the same lineup. They're 8 core, 16 threads. The 10900K, which is the overclockable SKUs, base clocks is 3.7. The non-K SKUs is 2.8. The 700, the base is up to 3.8 on the K version. The non-K is up to 2.9. And the 10900Ks have this thing called Intel Thermal Viscosity Boost for single and all-core turbo. So with these numbers, the highest number you can get on one core, and the rest of them will boost up to the lower numbers. You got 5.3 to 4.9 on the K versions. The non-Ks go up to 5.2 to up to 4.6 on all cores. You get down into the 10700s, they don't have this. So their max boost is up to 5.1 on the K and 4.8 on the non-Ks. Like I mentioned, the 10700s is 8 core, 16 threads. The K SKUs is 125 watt thermal design. The non-Ks is 65. That goes for the 900 and the 700s. Intel did not go with the PCI Express 4xO lanes. They still run it on the PCI Express x3. I guess that's a good thing for AMD yet, which mainly is for faster storage right now, because your graphics card can't even use up to 3.0 lanes. But it is up to 40 lanes all the way down. For the 2 high-end chips here, they do support up to 2933 memory speeds out of the box, which is not including the overclocking speeds. which if you buy a 3000 kit, 3200 kit, 3600 kit, 4000 kit, you know, they're still going to work great. Intel ain't as picky on the memory speeds as what AMD is, which is the plus. They're still running the DDR4. DDR5 hasn't dropped yet, but it's coming. As far as the prices go on them, the i9 10900K is $488. That's with integrated graphics. Without integrated graphics, $472. The 10900 is $439 with integrated graphics, $422 without integrated graphics. 700K is $374 with integrated graphics. Without integrated graphics, $349. You got the 10700 non-K is $322 with integrated graphics, $298 without integrated graphics. Then you got the i5s, 10600s, which is 6-core, 12 threads. You got the 10500, which is 6-core, 12 threads. Then you got 10400. You got 2 SKUs of those with and without integrated graphics, which the 10500 you've only got one option there. And the 10600, if you go with the non-SKU, non-K SKU, you don't have an option with or without graphics. It comes with graphics, which is kind of confusing to me. I mean, that's what I said. This lineup they came out with is all mixed up. These are the 6-core 12-thread processors from the 10600K down to the 10400F. The 10600K is the base clocks is 4.1. The non-K is 3.3. 10500 is 3.1. The 10400 is 2.9 on both SKUs. That's for the base clocks. The turbos, 4.8 for the 10600Ks. And the 10600 also boosts up to 4.8. The 10500 is 4.5. 10.4 boosts up to 4.3. Like I said, 6-core, 12 threads. You go with the K, which is overclockable. They got a thermal design of 125. The rest of them 65 watts. They're still up to 40 PCI Express lanes. This is the difference in the memory. They cut down to the base clock speed of the memories, 2666 on all these processors. And like I said before, without the F, which means they don't have integrated graphics. Price for these, they start out at $157 and they go up to $262, depending on which one of the 6 SKUs you pick. So they're definitely getting the prices down there to be compatible with AMD prices, I believe, or close to it. Then you got the i3 variants of these processors, which they're all hyper-threaded as well. 3.8, 3.7, 3.6 boost clocks, or base clocks. 4.6, 4.4, 4.3 for the boost clocks. 4 cores, 8 threads, 65 watt design, 2666 memory. The 10400 has a SKU without integrated graphics, which kind of seems kind of strange. They built one of them without integrated graphics, but the 500 and the 600, you can't get them without the integrated graphics. Yeah, just add to the madness, right? Then you have the 3 Pentium SKUs here, which still have hyper-threading, 2 cores, 4 threads. Then you have the Celerons, which is no hyper-threading. They're just 2 cores, 2 threads. If you're looking at building a gaming PC, I wouldn't recommend any of these. Not 2 cores, 4 threads. If you're building a gaming PC, I wouldn't go no less than the 4 cores, 8 threads. But I'd spend the extra money and get at least the 6 cores. But that's just my opinion. And now they say, Intel says these processors are going to be available on May the 20th. Is it going to be all the SKUs? I doubt it. Most of the times when they come out with this stuff, they release the high-end stuff. And then later on, they'll trickle out the lower-end stuff. It seems kind of funny to me that they're releasing these on May the 20th when the Ryzen 3, new processors for Ryzen 3 is coming out on May 21. Coincidence? I think not, but that's just my opinion. Now, if you own a Z390 or a Z390 motherboard and you're hoping to be able to just plop one of these processors in, you can't do it. It's an Intel thing. They don't have backwards compatibility. To get onto this platform on the 10th gen, you have to have the Z490 motherboards. And I've seen some other people talk to Intel about this, asking if the lower SKU motherboards, when they come out, is going to be supporting overclocking. They won't answer. So you still may have to have the Z motherboards to be able to overclock the K SKUs. Still unclear at this point. There's a little bit of a breakdown of what they're offering and the prices they're offering. I think the pricing schemes on these is going to be pretty comparable to AMD. And of course, I don't recommend you going out and buy one of these. I recommend you wait till the reviewers actually get their hands on them and run their own testing on these things. because Intel says that they're 30-40% faster in gaming and da 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 da. But that's an Intel thing. It's a marketing scheme. I'd wait till reviewers get their hands on them and actually be able to test these things for you, and to tell you if they're actually up to the task or not. Because everything looks good on paper until it comes to real world performance. There is graphs out there showing this things compared to the 900Ks and the 9000 series processors, but there's nothing comparing them to AMD. I wonder why that is. But anyways, this is about what we know on these processors. This did come from Intel, so it's pretty good source that this is what's going to be released here in a couple of weeks or so, depending on when you're watching this video. But they have upped the game up to 10 cores, 12 threads. They've got the pricing, I believe, pretty comparable to AMD. You still don't have the AMD fanboys, and you got the Intel fanboys, which I'm neither. I'll build with either one. I'll go for the best bang for the buck, and it ain't always the cheapest. But, whatever gives me the performance for the price. Because with the release of Ryzen, they've really got the performance kicked up with the lower price tag. And it seems like these guys may be bringing the competition back to AMD. I'm hoping that they review well. I'm hoping that I'm right on that, because we need competition in the space. Before Ryzen, Intel or go home. Now with Ryzen, it's pretty well Ryzen will go home, because Intel 9000 series processors are just too expensive to be recommended for computer builds. So I'm hoping with these processors, they kind of even out the playing field, and we have a few options out there if you want to go with Intel or AMD. This is kind of my take on this new information with the new 10th gen Intel processors coming out, which, like I said, they'll be coming out here in a couple weeks. But I think it's going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. Give me a like if you like this content. Give me the thumbs down if you don't like it. There's a comment section. I go through them every weekend on my live stream here Saturday morning, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget that lonely little subscribe button down there, that notification bell. And that way you're notified next time I go live or I put out a video. Until the next time, you all have a good day, and you be safe out there. And I'll see you in the next video or live stream.